Alright, we're at the IKEA rally in Coquitlam, so I'm just going to do a walkthrough.
Don't stand before you, don't let the back out. Pretty risky.
Sir. Come on, guys, trying to get some good footage.
Don't give an exhibition. Don't find out that it is all after midnight.
They're just setting up, blocking off a lane just for our safety, just to make sure. Because of that many people, 200 people, you can see how that might be a concern. You can see a long lineup of cars now starting to accumulate.
Come wind or frigid snow, there's 100,000 in the streets, and that number's gonna grow. And when we put the governor on trial, I'll be in the front row. Just take a look around. We're a union town. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's go. This is a
Martin?
I was just saying if you
Get a good shot.
Good. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Requirements, if you will, please do not jaywalk across Woolridge here. Please use the crosswalk. The RCMP will help direct traffic so that you can use the crosswalk. Do not jaywalk. As well, when we go to leave, this is where our rally is. It is not on the other side of the street. It is to be on this area only. Thank you. I think it's really important that we get together as a group so that we can express our solidarity and rally around IKEA workers, not just here in the Lower Mainland, but also globally. And I'd like to make a few introductions. Jim Sinclair, BC Federation of Labour President. He's going to say a few words, and I thank you very much for the support that the BC Fed has given the IKEA workers, and for helping to organize an event such as this. Cassandra Cadero, thank you very much. Thank you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Anita Dawson. I'm the business representative for Teamsters Local 213. I'm also the bargaining agent for the IKEA Richmond workers. Thank you. And to kind of kick things off here, I'm going to have Derek Drake, who is an IKEA member, start off with a chant. There's some copies of it floating around, so please feel free to join in. Thank you. Thank you, Derek.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Are you ready to chant? Okay, so everybody repeat after me. We want a new contract.
We want a new contract.
IKEA wants to roll us back.
IKEA wants to roll us back.
Union busting is their thing.
Union busting is their thing.
We the the Teamsters like to sing.
We the Teamsters like to sing.
Reading, writing, arithmetic.
Reading, writing, arithmetic.
IKEA's contract makes me sick.
IKEA's contract makes me sick.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
They crammed a letter through my door.
Crammed a letter through my door.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
IKEA won't negotiate.
IKEA won't negotiate.
9, 10, 11, 12.
9, 10, 11, 12.
We need some help from Swedish elves.
Swedish elves.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We won't take it anymore.
We won't take it anymore.
Thank you. We've got one more here. Thank you. You guys sound awesome out there. Okay, everybody remember that protest song from the 70s? Sign, sign, everywhere, sign? Okay, well, I've changed the words a bit to that. I got a verse here, but everybody knows the chorus. So if there is song sheets out there, so you can sing along if you like. Sign says, please don't cross our picket line. IKEA put up these fences, and I'm here to tell you why. They put up the fence to keep us out, to keep all the lies inside. I don't know how long the lockout will last, but I'm alive and doing fine. Sing the chorus. Sign, sign, everywhere, sign. Locking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the sign? One more time. Sign, sign, everywhere, sign. Locking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the sign? Thank you, you all did awesome out there. I'll be back later for more.
Thank you very much, Derek. Jim Sinclair, would you please like to step forward and say a few words?
Right behind you.
Backwards.
Thank you very much, Anita. Are you ready to keep up the fight? Are we going to win? Thank you all for coming out here today and for standing in solidarity with the IKEA workers. You know, we got a letter last week from IKEA lawyers. The same lawyers, by the way, that work for Labor Watch often, that anti-union group. And they said, if you have a rally here, we'll sue you. We said, bring it on. To IKEA, we say, in this country, we have a right to speak our mind and a right to have a rally wherever we want. You know, I want to say a couple thank yous. Especially to Anita and Cassandra for organizing this event, because you know what, in the labor movement, we don't get nowhere without organizers. So thanks to the staff of both those organizations for getting us here today. Thanks to the Teamsters. This is a long fight. It's a lot of money, a lot of effort, but they've hung in tough and said they're going to be there one day longer. Thank you for the Teamsters 213. I love looking out here and seeing the banners of the other unions. Because we know this isn't a fight about Teamsters, it's a fight about working people. Thank you for all the unions that are here today and have been walking the picket line in Richmond. Thank you so much. But I saved the best thank you to last. Because there is a group of people we really have to thank today. A group of people like most of us who got up every day and went to work with their employer, did the best job they could, got paid and came home. And they did that day after day, week after week, some of them for 25 to 30 years at IKEA. In this round of bargaining, when IKEA came to the bargaining table, and they said, it's all your fault, workers, you don't work hard enough. And as a result, we want two-tiered wages and lower the benefits for every single IKEA employee and lower the hours. And those workers did the right thing. They said, we're not selling out the next generation of working people. When we walk in that store to work, all our workers are going to remain equal. No two-tiered wages. That's discrimination. And IKEA have been whining about productivity at the store out here in Richmond where they built the new store as well. You know, explain to me this. How, if you lower wages, you get more productivity? The fact is that productivity isn't high enough in that store. They should look at the fact they've had 7 managers in 8 years. and look at management and what they do. It's not the workers' problem, it's management's problem. Stop blaming the workers. So as I say, this is not a problem for IKEA workers and a struggle for IKEA workers. This is an issue for all working people and for the entire labor movement in British Columbia. We have to stick together. IKEA, the wonder of social democracy, the Swedish model of respect for employees. Go on the internet, read about them. You think, they were the left-wing company of the world. And yet, between the language of respect, the right to join a union, and the right to have a decent paycheck and benefits, you have what they're offering in Richmond. You also had the company, as it came out the other day, giving out cards to Richmond employees so they can phone Labour Watch, an anti-union scab-herding organization, and get help from Labour Watch. Shame on IKEA. The good news is that a small handful of workers went to work. I appeal to them today. You made a mistake. You are making this dispute go longer. Please stop working at IKEA and join the rest of us again. That's the answer. So we have a big job to do, and last week or 2 weeks ago we got a lot of help. Last week in Vancouver there was a hearing into this dispute by a commission based in Europe, by the ITF, the International Transportation Federation, and UNI, two international global unions. And we asked them to come here and do a report on what's happening at IKEA here. Why is that important? Because this company is an international company. It's all over the world, and the thing they hate the most is somebody who talks badly about their brand. We've had many letters about that already. The fact is, this company is in trouble in many places in the world. In France this week, their CEOs were charged with spying on employees. Shame on them. Shame. In Russia, this morning's newspaper, under pressure, they took out 2 gay couples who were in their catalog when they sent it to Russia, bowing to homophobia in Russia instead of standing up for human rights. Shame. And so that commission will make a report. There will be pressure internationally. We need to join with the labor movement to make sure that that IKEA in Sweden gets the message that they will not settle this dispute. They will not get their workers back to work unless it's with a fair and reasonable collective agreement that respects every single employee. That's our message. So now, Christmas is coming. IKEA catalogs have been flowing. We need to send a message as strong as we can. IKEA is off limits. Stay out of IKEA until they get a settlement. We will spread the word. How can you have Christmas and how can you celebrate Christmas at shopping at IKEA when those folks have been on the street for 6 months? What about their families, IKEA? What about working people, IKEA? In fact, you know what? We're all getting tired and pissed off at having to apologize for a good wage. There's nothing the matter with a good wage and good benefits. We all deserve that. And of course, IKEA can't afford to pay. They're struggling to survive on the edge of the economic precipice. They can't make it day to day. Their managers are taking pay cuts, I'm sure. And they made $4 billion last year. Excuse me, what's wrong with this picture? Really? $4 billion, and people who worked there 25 years should get paid less? Not on your life. No concessions, IKEA. No concessions, IKEA. No way. So again, this battle won't be over until we get a fair collective agreement. We're fighting for everybody. To the IKEA workers, you're standing up for everybody's rights. You're standing up in solidarity. We're behind you 100%. Let's keep it together and win this one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. What a fantastic speech. Dorothy Tompkins, long-term 20-year employee at IKEA. I think she's going to say a few words too. There she is.
Sorry, I kind of have to read from notes. I apologize. My name is Dorothy Tompkins, and I've worked with IKEA for the past 20 years. I started my journey with this company in October of 1993 and was hired on as a permanent employee in January of 94 and became a shop steward in 2004. This is a great company, and those of us who were lucky enough to become employed there stayed, and we're happy with our decision. We are a family. We have grown together through births, deaths, marriages, divorces, teenagers. During my first 13 years, we had 3 store managers, and we used to joke that managers should be like U.S. presidents and be restricted to 2 terms in order to avoid becoming stagnant. We went on strike in 2007 to eliminate a 2-tiered wage system that we felt was unfair and not in the best interests of the workers, future or present. We succeeded, and that is when things really began to change. Our store became a revolving door of store managers and HR people. To my count, 5 store managers, maybe 6, and at least 5 HR managers. As a member of the bargaining committee, I can tell you that the negotiations were all about IKEA trying to claw back what they could and us trying to preserve what we have. I came to work for this company because of the wages and benefits and not in spite of them. And speaking of which, they go on the media and they talk about how some of us make $18 an hour and $20 an hour. Well, guess what? The minimum hours per week, or the average hours per week that we work, is 19. That's not enough money to raise a family on.
Shame.
The example I'm fond of using is this. Say you bought a car, and one of the main selling features was the air conditioning. You happily drove your new car for several years, until one day the dealer came out and told you they were taking the air conditioning away with no replacement and no refund. Would you be happy? On May 13, 2013, IKEA locked us out. Why? Because we didn't believe that the collective agreement that they had proposed was fair and reasonable, so we voted against it. We voted against it not once, but 3 times. The employer's answer was to lock us out for an hour in a bid to force us to bend to their will and accept their deal. So much for democracy. So much for respect. Since then, the company has put up an iron curtain of fences and canvas tarps to block us off from the customers in the store. There are 2 security companies that patrol the line and film our every move, 24 hours a day. 5 people have been hired to ensure that customers have little opportunity to speak to us, as they are directed to quickly drive ahead into the parking lot. I can't help but wonder what we did wrong. They call us valued co-workers, but we certainly don't feel valued. I believe that this dispute is not just about the Teamsters versus the global giant IKEA. This is about workers' rights and the labor movement as a whole. What is happening here is happening in other workplaces across the globe, and it needs to stop. Our future and the future of our children is at stake. We have been told that we do not have to belong to some third-party organization to work for IKEA. Well, guess what? I, for one, am proud to be part of this third-party organization, and until recent years, it had no more bearing on how I did my job than the color of my uniform. We don't want to be out on the street picketing. We want to be inside doing what we do best, our jobs. And as my union sister Teresa said, IKEA knows how to treat us well. They've just forgotten. So IKEA, tear down your iron curtain and let's get back to the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. That was very, very well said, and really straight from the heart, and it really echoes the sentiment of the IKEA worker at Richmond. Next, I'd like to introduce Peter LaHaye and Rob Ashton from the ILW. Thank you.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Peter LaHaye. I'm with the ILW, and I'm also the National Coordinator for the International Transport Workers Federation. First off, I want to bring greetings of solidarity from the General Secretary of the ITF, Stephen Cotton, and the President, Paddy Crumlin, who's from the Maritime Union of Australia. I was just with Brother Crumlin and Brother Cotton in London a few days ago, and we've been bringing this issue to the attention of the international labor movement. We've brought it to official forums. We've been cranking up the information. We've been working and reaching into Sweden and reaching around the world. We have plans in store for IKEA. IKEA is a global brand, has been mentioned by the previous speaker and Brother Sinclair earlier. So we're going to make sure that their global brand is known around the world for the way it treats workers. It seems that if you're an IKEA worker in Sweden, you get treated pretty good. It seems also the farther away from Sweden you are, the worse the treatment the workers receive. We've seen some very, very anti-trade union behavior from IKEA in Turkey. and there's been such a massive campaign there. The other global union federation called Uni Global, which represents service workers, has in fact formed a working group of trade unions that represent workers in IKEA. It's an IKEA working group, and it's a global effort to bring a framework agreement to IKEA. So we have long-range plans with IKEA, but we have short-term goals. And injected into this is the struggles of the brothers and sisters who have been blocked out by this company for the last 6 months. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, there's no way on God's green earth, this whole earth, that every single worker that has something to say about this dispute won't step up to the plate and do something to support the workers of IBT 213. With that, brothers and sisters, I want to wish the workers at 213 and IKEA good luck in this struggle. We're with you 24/7 until this fight is done, and when this fight is done, we're going to win. Thanks very much.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It's a beautiful, beautiful day to do this, isn't it? I bring greetings to you on behalf of our President Mark Gordienko, President of LW Canada, the Pacific Coast Maritime Workers Council, and the Canadian Maritime Workers Council, which is all the longshore unions across Canada. I'm going to tell you briefly what IKEA meant to me and to my family as I was a little younger at the time, as we were growing up. Those two little ones over there are mine. The one the one that's waving, and the other one that's hiding behind the iPod. Every stage of my family's life was at this place, was at the IKEA Richmond. When my first wife and I bought our first condominium, it was furnished from IKEA Richmond. We got one of those chairs that you hit it hard enough, it's gonna fly you across the room. Thankfully, I seen him before I dropped the F-bomb. And then we had a beautiful young daughter. She's not that young anymore, she just started high school. We got her crib, we got her baby stuff from there. We searched that store up and down. The same thing with my little one. Exact same thing. And then with my new wife, who, through her daughters, we got two beautiful granddaughters. We shopped at IKEA for their stuff. They got those really nice down-filled quilts. Beautiful thing, keep you warm in the wintertime. We've got a grandson coming. I want to be able to buy something like that for him. IKEA meant family to me throughout my family's life. Now they don't. This is our family right here. The people here are the only one that gives a goddamn about any one of us. They're not sticking up for your rights. We all are. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll harness this and we'll take it to them. On behalf of my union, I pledge to you here we'll be shoulder to shoulder with 213 until this is complete and our brothers and sisters are back to work.
Thank you so much, Rob and Peter. There's so much going on, and I just don't even know where to start to thank everybody for their support. Agnes Gagaleski, she wrote a poem. She's also a IKEA member, and I think it was really poignant, and I would like her to read it to all of you. Agnes? Hello, everyone. I was inspired a few days ago in commemoration of this rally and all of us coming together and the support that you have all showed us. So I put a few words together for you. It's called the picket line. We walk, we talk, we yearn inside for an answer we can't find. Why did the company we care for and admire put us on the curb for 6 months and for hire? Why won't they see us with their hearts and their minds? Instead, they turn the tables to rewind. We grow closer as friends and breach the boundaries of industry standard. For what we have is unity, and no fence can divide that. We walk and we talk about interests and hopes. We gain tolerant of the weather as we battle our foes. In the spotlight that some seem to shame with much haste, relentless we stand up for what's right in the end. I thank you, my friends, for 6 months of pure care. I could not be prouder of the bonds that we share. In solidarity I write, as I thank each of you for your dedication to what's both real and most true. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes. And I think that is fitting to lead into what I'm going to address as IKEA and workers around the world and some of the adversarial conditions that they've faced. You start off in Turkey, and they have a right to organize in Turkey, and they've been stopped at every possible step, and some pretty underhanded tactics too. Union members have been disciplined or fired for their union activism. They've also been pressured to resign from their positions. They've had anti-union one-on-one meetings with them, with the store manager and the HR manager. New employees are indoctrinated against any union principles and rights. Bear in mind, Turkish law supports the right to unionize, so why is there a problem? And this has been a fight that's been going on for at least 2 years now. I move over to France. Jim mentioned the difficulties that in France, IKEA, and there was a recent arrest of not one but 2 senior IKEA managers for doing illegal background checks into customers and co-workers alike. They have been charged by the police. They were bribing the police. This is not the IKEA that we should be working for, and it's not the one we used to work for. Move closer to home, to Danville, Virginia. An organizing drive was started down there by the machinists. Why? Because the Danville plant, the deplorable working conditions was what led those group of workers to want to unionize. They've had a wage rate of $9.75 an hour, and IKEA rolled it back to $8 an hour. The vacation, they got 12 days, and 8 of it was scheduled by the company. There were safety infractions and accidents so bad that they were that the plant was fined for not reporting them. Thousands of dollars they were fined. Anti-union law firm was hired again to hold captive audience meetings to try and talk the workers not to unionize. There's even cases of discrimination, racial discrimination. I moved closer to home again, Richmond, IKEA. We've been out on the picket line for 6 months now. This is the longest labor dispute in IKEA history that we've been able to determine. Why? They want to diminish the working conditions. They want to change the pay structure, all the while decreasing the number of positions that have a guarantee of hours per week. We on the picket line are under constant surveillance by security. They've erected blackout screens, and looks like they've erected them over here today. There's more security. We've had reports than they've seen in the Afghanistan, the compounds to protect the premises. This is how this company is treating its once valued workers. Why am I telling you this? Why? Because unions are extremely important to our society and the middle class. We collectively are responsible for 8-hour days, overtime, pensions, establishing minimum wages, health and safety regulations, fair representation with no discrimination, and of course, first and foremost, equal pay for equal work. Don't you see a common thread within the IKEA global network that's missing here? I have to mention, all these are achieved through collective bargaining. This is where we come together collectively to fight for what's right and support each other. I also want to mention IKEA is looking to double its revenue by the year 2020. So they're going to be going from $37 billion in US to $74 billion. That's a heck of a lot of money. What are the IKEA workers looking for? Just the right of fair representation. The Richmond workers just want to keep what they had. How is that a crime? Because of this action in Richmond, There's been a global delegation here to investigate and fact find. And we're waiting anxiously for that report to come out because we want to send a message to Sweden. There is going to be action taken. There's going to be a delegation coming from here to go to Sweden to further what's going on here and keep that message strong. IKEA has caused this problem. They've brought it onto themselves. They're the ones now that have got an international microscope on the problem with the workers in the world and IKEA Richmond. I wanted to close with President Ronald Reagan once addressed back in 1987 at the Berlin Wall. He implored Russian President Gorbachev in the name of peace and prosperity to tear down the wall. IKEA, our message to you, tear down your walls. Communicate with us, go back to the bargaining table, negotiate a fair and proper offer for these workers so they can go back to work by Christmas. We are the many. We are the many. Thank you, Derek. Come on. We are in solidarity together, and I think it's time that we sing that very important song.
Everybody ready to sing again?
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, this is Solidarity Forever. We got two verses. One verse I wrote myself. The second verse is on the song sheets. So we'll start off. IKEA's contract offer is a slap across the face. They send us nasty letters and won't negotiate. We will fight them in the trenches till we sing our victory song. For the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
For the union makes us strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no greater power beneath us in the sun. Yet what the force on earth is weaker than the feeble one. Sorry. And then there's the one that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Thank you.
Thank you. That song was written back in 1914, and its message is still as powerful as it was then today. Thank you all for coming. Don't jaywalk. Move safely out of here. Thank you to the Coquitlam RCMP for directing the traffic today, and thank you for Greyhound for letting us use this green space. Thank you very much to the speakers, and thank you to you. We'll get this done.
If you live in underneath the bridge, man, all roads lead to home. I got a hidden flash, got a paid cash, got a house above my road. You know, I get charged from Chicago.
For a chance to win a 2014 Don't wait. Book your service appointment at any Artgrass Toyota dealer today. Learn more at winwithtoyotaservice.ca.
Don't eat the meatballs! Don't shop at IKEA! Don't shop at IKEA!
Thanks for coming out. Thanks. Thank you for coming out. Thanks. Excuse me.
I heard the version of the whole wood eye and it was heavy.